the chamber fell silent. Not the polite, procedural silence of a legislature waiting for a gavel, but a heavy, expectant quiet that made every heartbeat audible. Senator John Kennedy leaned forward, his eyes scanning the room, searching the faces of his colleagues. For weeks, tensions had been simmering, divisions deepening like cracks in the very foundation of the Capitol. Bills were stalled, voices were raised, and America's soul, its very identity, hung in the balance. And then he asked the question. Just one question. And in that instant, the room seemed to stop breathing. Are we still the nation that believes in justice for all? Kennedy's voice was calm but carried an edge that cut through the chatter. The words hung in the air like smoke, refusing to dissipate. Senators shifted uncomfortably in their seats, aides glanced at each other with whispered exclamations, and cameras caught every flicker of reaction. It was a simple question, yet it carried the weight of centuries of every promise and betrayal, every triumph and tragedy in America's history. For Kennedy, this was personal. He had spent his youth in small-town Louisiana, watching his father argue about the principles of fairness and equality over cups of coffee. He had seen communities divided by fear, by prejudice, by policies that favored some and abandoned others. And now, decades later, he found himself in a chamber where history could be altered or ignored with the stroke of a pen. The opposition rose first, voices loud, rehearsed. Senator Kennedy once said, "This is a political theater. Our policies are sound. Our nation functions well." Others nodded, their speeches carefully constructed to deflect the weight of Kennedy's question. But he didn't respond immediately. He let the room strain under the weight of his words. He let history speak through silence. In the gallery, a group of high school students leaned forward, clutching notebooks, their eyes wide. They were here to witness democracy in action, to see their leaders fight for the nation's future. Kennedy noticed them, and in that moment, the stakes became even more vivid. This wasn't about party lines or partisan victories. This was about the America they would inherit. He began to speak, slowly, deliberately. We talk of freedom, of opportunity, of equality. Yet every day, we see young men and women denied those very promises because of the color of their skin, their zip code, or the faith they practice. We see families torn apart by poverty, by injustice, by the silence of those who could make a difference. And yet, we stand here debating numbers, budgets, and policies as if the soul of this nation is something abstract we can afford to ignore. Some senators shifted in discomfort, others avoided his gaze, but a few leaned forward, recognizing the truth in his words. Kennedy continued, his voice rising with quiet fire. What is a nation if not its soul? And if we compromise that soul, what have we left?